Alright, we're back on gaming. And let me say this now, okay? I just want to say this, alright? It seems like after, you see these videos week in, week out, whatever I do them. And you have to understand throughout all the years that I've shown you that there's things that you should not be surprised by, but disappointed. Or at this point, not even disappointed. You should just see it coming, you know what I mean? At this point, everything that you've seen when it comes to the people that are in this community, in this industry, in these media outlets, it's very hard to take any of them, I won't say seriously, because they have made a living at it, or they have gotten some fame out of it. If anything, they're not good people. They're not. I mean, we see it all the time. These are the type of people, because there's a lot of people in this world who will take advantage of you. They will abuse you. They will use your good nature until it gets to a point where they've gotten what they've wanted, and then they'll cast you aside. There's a lot of backstabbers out there, a lot of snakes out there, a lot of con men, and especially in this community, especially now in this YouTube era, tons of con men. And the thing is, they run such slow. It's the lowest of low cons. You know what I mean? And so you should be able to see it coming. I think that a lot of people don't realize that once again, in this type of internet, I dare say this internet generation, I won't say that because, like I said before to you, ladies and gentlemen, the internet was good till about 2010, 2011. That's when everyone started losing their damn brains. So that generation that moved in, and it's carried on to now. And it just seems like ever since then, we were dealing with a lot of people who don't realize that there's consequences to your actions. You know what I mean? That you need to carry yourself a specific way, or you will always be seen as that way that you're acting. Alright? With that said, let's talk about one Jed Whitaker. That's right. The very same Jed Whitaker that wrote articles about sticking Joy-Cons up your ass. The very same Jed Whitaker that was, let go by Destructoid. Very same Jed Whitaker that we have now seen that has made a video not too long ago. Gameplay video. Alright? Plants vs. Zombies. And one of the people in the community decided this was such a bad video that we can't let this go. We have to took the video and he put it on on another YouTube channel. And Jed Whitaker did not like that because Jed Whitaker was very embarrassed by his performance. Alright, it's not just his performance, but the way he's talking and everything. And he got to a point where he threatened to sue the person. That's right, sue the person if he didn't take down the video. But once Jed Whitaker realizes he doesn't have the money to do that, he resorts to begging to get the video taken down. Trying to ruin his life. That's a very bold and yet a hypocritical statement. I mean, let's be honest here. Jed Whitaker and his ilk have spent years, previous, I'm going to say 3, maybe 4 years, slandering so many people in their careers that it could possibly ruin their life. But as soon as he does something that clearly, and here's the thing, I've noticed, a lot of really low IQ YouTubers do, or I can't even call them gamers at this point, low IQ YouTubers do, that we've seen over the years. They make these videos, they literally set up the video, they set up the recording software, they get all this stuff together, they plan out how they're going to do things, they record the video, they edit the video, they put it out there to the world, and then when someone takes their video, they say, no, this is not right, it was wrong for me. They have that epiphany now that all of a sudden, it's a bad video. Mind you, these are adults, these aren't kids, these are adults, okay? Now here's the thing, no one forced you to make the video. And you should know, out of all people, that when you put something on the internet, it's there forever. It doesn't matter if you delete it on your end. It doesn't matter, all right? Someone's going to take that video and they're going to do whatever they want with it. That's what's going to happen, all right? That's a responsibility that you need to just, you have to accept. You did that. No one told you to do it. You did it yourself. You thought it was cool, all right? And now someone's taking it and, I'm going to DMCA you. Are you serious? Are you serious? And we see this a lot from YouTubers. We've seen this from a lot of people, especially in the fighting game community, when you have these really salty players who want stuff taken down. They do these streams, they say all this reckless shit, and you know that they're nothing but a bunch of cream puffs in real life because they really make it known that. But they say all this reckless shit, and then some fan or someone who doesn't like them takes their video and mirrors it or whatever, and then they get upset. You stop taking my videos, you're trying to make a name of yourself. No. You put that shit out there. You did. All right? Now you just got to take the consequences with that. That's what you got to do. You act a certain way, then you're going to get treated a certain way. It's that simple. All right? So Jed Whitaker goes from threatening to begging. And now he's trying to become the victim. He's trying to sit here and get his victim bucks up because you're trying to ruin his life. Let me open up a Patreon, and hopefully people will support me. That's where we're at now. Jed Whitaker wants this very bad video to go away. So what I'm going to do is, in the description field, I'm going to put the video in the description field for you to see. Of course, it's on a different, from the YouTuber who, uploaded it. You're going to go to that channel. You're not going to go to Jed's channel. You'll go to that channel, all right? So you can see it for yourself. The gaming media at work, all right? So you can see the video for yourself on how he's playing Plants vs. Zombies. It's man. Yeah, I don't know. But we've already known, I should say, that the gaming media can't play video games. We know that. But it just gets worse and worse. And the things that he's saying to commentate, to try and get you, all right, to listen, is so cringe. Oh, my God, it's so cringe. It's almost like it's a 10-year-old in a grown man's body playing Plants vs. Zombies. Just saying. Okay? That's what it's like. I don't know. It almost feels like he's trying to out-DSP, but that's not going to happen. I don't know why Jed Whitaker thought that was okay. But when you're watching this video, look at Jed Whitaker. Literally, you're looking at him and you're thinking, this is the type of person that if you were ever in an arcade scene or a local scene, you stayed away from. Because the way they act, how weird they are. You can tell that they're not... It's not that they have their own quirks. That's not it at all. This guy is just simply a bad person. And that's what we're seeing. That's what it is. He exposes himself for what he truly is. Which we have seen a lot of as of late with a lot of YouTubers. But it seems like people keep giving them 19, 20 different chances. I don't get it. I don't. If I said half the shit that Pood say or Boogie said or something, man, you ought to rush me out of here quick. But hey, it is what it is, right? But Jed Whitaker isn't the exception to the rule. Because Jed Whitaker isn't on the fame train. People may know him because of the articles that he's written, but they don't know him for gameplay. And when you see this gameplay, you're going to be like, oh my God, what the hell's going on here? You know what I mean? What's wrong with this man? You know? And it's not to the point where we've seen in the past someone is a degenerate and they can catch a fan base of said degenerates that are like him. That's not the case in this. No. Not at all. So, consequences to actions. Shall we move on? Since I just brought up locals and brought up arcades, I guess we can talk about this. First, let's start with Google. That's right. Google is hiring 10,000 people to clean up YouTube. Safety team. That's right, 10,000 people. First, they're going to try and get all the bad videos, or that's deemed bad, and they're going to delete them. They're going to get rid of them. Sponge them from the internet. Now, we just talked about this, right? Because nothing just goes away. Now, here's the thing, Google. All right? And we talked about this, about YouTube before. For years, I have said what should be happening with YouTube. It needs its own call center for creators and all that stuff, right? And people have said to me in the comment section, well, that will cost a lot of money to do. They have a call center and all this other stuff. They're hiring 10,000 people to delete videos. They have money. There's no excuse. It's not a good structured business. It's not. All right? You don't have customer service, like nothing. You have nothing. So you got to go through everything via email unless you get the private number. It's a bunch of bullshit. You know that, and I know that. Okay? There's no excuse. They're hiring. They can spend millions of... How much did they try to acquire Twitch for? I'm not trying to hear it. Okay? They have money. They just choose not to do business the right way, and people are just accepting bad business once you want to try and get into it to be an employee. Notice I said employee, right? Okay. But with that said, let's talk about this thing that just happened not too long ago with the FCC and net neutrality and all that sort of stuff. Now, we know that the FCC got that and was like, oh, it's a win for us and we're going to kill, everything. And we saw a lot of gamers come out of woodwork and say that, the sky is falling and it's over, and someone would say, we got to fight the good fight, we got to keep it up. I'm telling everyone, calm the hell down. If you don't remember CISPA and SOPA and all these other, other ones, they get to these courts and they lose. They have a history of losing. All right? Obviously, the people have spoken. They don't want them to kill this, but the FCC is not listening to the people. Okay? As you know, if history repeats itself, they will not win this. People need to be calm about this, all right, and relax. We're seeing people. What happened? They were sending death threats while they were there. No, we can't have that. Come on, we can't have that. Sending death threats. If anything, that makes it worse. They're going to say, "See, this is why we need to do it." That's what they're going to say. Some people are conspiracy theory and saying, "Hey, they set that up." You know what I mean? To give them more leverage. Whatever the case may be, okay. At this point, it's time to go back. All right. People love bringing back the 90s, don't they? We're going to bring the 90s back. We're going to bring old school back. Okay, well, now it's time to bring back the arcades. And there's a good time, since you feel as though the internet is going to die, all right? You bring back the arcades, you bring back the locals, you know what I mean? And you get together and you play face-to-face with people. And you get to know people and you can have fun, you know, on a daily basis. I mean, what's the problem with that? I don't care if you're some YouTube star. I don't care if you're a Twitch star and that's how you make your money. That's on fucking you. No one told you to put your eggs all in one basket. Alright? That's on you. That's not what gaming is about. But the fact is, you have to understand that if we're going to sit here and complain about these networks, and we talked about this before, this is what they did. They got rid of the arcades and kept you on their networks. And then they started wanting you to pay stuff. And now you're paying for these networks, and these networks aren't even that good. We see them get hacked down to hell all the time and everything, right? Okay, we've seen these things. They have these what's it, terms of service where you buy a game, you're trying to play it online, and then they cut off the service. They can cut it off within 3 months if they want to. EA is notorious for that. Hey, how's Mag doing right now? What? Mag's not around anymore. That's what I thought. Yeah, always online games. Why do you need them? I don't understand this. But like I said, if you're going to do this type of stuff and put things online and keep you on your couch, all right, then they have to have some type of better structure. You need some type of archive, some type of server that will keep these games going. As you know, not too long ago, for those, you know what, maybe you don't know, all right? So I guess we should talk about this because it's part of this. Gravity Rush, that's right. There's a campaign going on right now because they want to cut off the online for it. That's right, for Gravity Rush. And it's like people are fighting this. The game just came out, earlier this year or last year, something like that? Gravity Rush, I believe it was earlier this year, right? Earlier this year. And they're talking about cutting off the online for it. Like, come on, man. Come on. No, you can't do that. Because they're tied to online trophies and stuff like that, too. You know? So all those games have online trophies. If you don't get them while you can, see ya. Absolutely ridiculous, dude. This is why, if you want to talk about games being a service, there's a lot of rules that need to be structured and disciplines, you know, that need to be put into place to make sure that the consumer always has a chance to play these games. Always. All right? That's what it comes down to. Games are not a service. And if they're a service, then it's time for consumers to demand more. Because real services don't pull this crap. Okay? They don't. And before you say, well, it takes a lot of money for these services. No. I'm not trying to hear all that. The companies decided this is the move they wanted to make. Okay? This is where they wanted to go with it because they felt it was too expensive to keep doing the arcade scene. Even though we still see these days that you can do an arcade scene or a gaming lounge scene or whatever the case may be. They just choose not to. Okay? It's that simple. So now, again, actions have consequences. So it's time for gamers, instead of sitting around and crying about this situation, to actually put in some work. But I forgot. A lot of them don't like to put in work. Like I said, go talk to a tournament organizer. See how much work they put in when it comes to tournaments. No one wants to talk about that. No, instead, people will always complain about whether the bracket is messed up, or I missed my turn, or there's a stream problem, or whatever the case may be. They'll always find something to complain about, but never give you a solution. It's amazing. Just amazing. Like I said, with this situation, you have to understand that it's time to go back to how it used to be. You know what I mean? Stop spending so much time. And not many people are social on social media. They don't know how to socialize on social media, as opposed to face-to-face and getting to see the real people and, you know, and getting to know the real them. It's a little different. It is. And I think it's time that we bring that back. Because if this does go through, which I don't think it's going to, I think they're going to get stopped at the door when it comes to going to court. I think they're going to lose in court. But if they don't, let's just say they don't, then it's time we go back to what made this community great, what built this community from the ground up, and that was people getting to know people. That's what we need to do, as far as I'm concerned. But when I say that, I'm a bad guy. I don't give a shit about anybody's online status. I don't give a shit about your online popularity. I don't give a shit about your online business of, well, I'm an entertainer. Really? You're an entertainer? Did you go to school for it? No? Because, a lot of these entertainers that you see, they went to some type of acting school, or you have comedians who have done stand-up on the road time and time again, and everyone perfects their craft while you just sit on your ass and talk and play video games and hope that somebody gives you some money to pay the bills. There's a difference. If you are so passionate about your craft, then you work hard at it. You don't hope that somebody else, backs you. That's not how it works. No. Nobody wants to talk about that because the real world doesn't exist to a lot of people. And I think this is a good chance right now to show you that there's some serious differences within reality and the internet world. We've seen it already, where people have said, see on the internet, oh, he's such a popular person. Then when they get out there, they say, don't nobody know the fuck you are in real life. You walk down the street, nobody know who you are. Internet celebrity has to be probably the laziest thing I've ever seen, next to trying to be famous for a sports fan. Because you're literally being famous for what? Playing video games? You're literally being famous for some of them are famous not even for playing video games, for talking about video games. That's ridiculous. And no, I am not famous. I will not say that. I will never say that I'm famous. Ever. I don't care how many of you want to talk to me in real life or want to hang out. You never hear me. If you've ever talked to me, I'll never say, I'm a real famous guy. Never. Ever. I'm just a guy who sits in a chair and talks about this shit. And gives you some real, some real shit. That's it. That's it. And if you appreciate that, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. But never will I walk around, yeah, I'm the man because I'm this. Nope. I'm just like you. I'll sit and talk to you like you're just the same person. You're not beneath me. Now, if you want to get all arrogant and cocky about some things, then I'll bury the shit out of you. You know what I mean? But other than that, nah. We cool. We talking. We chilling. That's it. You say something wrong, fuck out of here. That's simple. It's very simple. But instead we got people who, wanted to charge X amount of dollars for a handshake or a photograph or whatever. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. But we gotta make a living at it. No, you don't. It's never been about making a living at it. You just chose to try and make a living at it. That's what it is. And then when things don't go your way, we see videos, well, I think they nerfed this, or they did something to the algorithm, or my fan base is leaving and I don't know why. And so all these complaining videos, do we not? And it's not even, sometimes it's not even from the bigger YouTubers. It's from the guys that are just in the middle. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But let's move on, since we're talking about taking it back. Original 80s Timeout Arcade, for those who remember that, is found in a dead mall in Virginia. It's pretty sad. But the mall itself is dead. It's not just the arcade. The mall is just, it's Dawn of the Dead, like gone. Like, yeah. For me, it's sad to see because those type of things, like I said, I believe we still have a timeout here, actually. Up in, I believe it's up in Chamonix, I think. But yeah, there's arcades still. Actually, I think they're getting ready to get rid of that. I may have to go up there and check it out. Like I said, the arcade scene, because it's not as big anymore, because of the networks, this is what happens to your arcade scenes. All right? So socializing is not, what it used to be. It's not. So I think it's time we bring that back. People can talk on a human level instead of just running around the internet and saying some shit to each other and think, ha ha ha, this is funny. That shit gets stupid. It's stupid. It is. Anyways, we should move on. Because, like I said, we want to talk about socializing. I guess we could talk more about socializing. Like I said, about, killing the net. Like I said, bring it back to the arcade scenes. Bring it back to the challenges and having fun. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. For those who don't know, all right, a dad challenges his daughter's boyfriend to a video game grudge match but he gets kicked out of his house. That's right. So look, first off, I don't have a problem with this. I think this is hilarious, all right? Over guilty gear, all right? Now, the father finds out that the daughter's boyfriend plays as a Slayer main, and he does not like that. Slayer trash, you main Slayer, what's wrong with you? That's where he goes with this. And he was like, no person who main Slayer is going to win the hand of my daughter. You know what I mean? I challenge you to a match. And needless to say, the father absolutely destroys the kid. Okay? Because the father's been playing Guilty Gear since its birth. So he knows what's going on. You know what I mean? However, he's not the strongest player in the family. Apparently, the daughter can play, the mother can play, and whatever else we have known. But it's funny because in this article, you can see the actual tweets that are being put out as he's beating him. I beat this scrub. No scrub deserves my daughter. Very samurai code type stuff. And I love it. I love it. I do. Here's the thing. All right? When you go too far, all right, with your winning and your gloating, you end up in trouble with your family. So what happens? They don't make him any dinner. He gets kicked out the house. Then when he comes back in, he still doesn't have any dinner. Something taken too far. It is. But I'll put it like this. There's two things I love about this, all right? The fantasy part of this, which is you have this rivalry because, the hand of my daughter, blah, 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 blah. And from a video game aspect, it sounds great. I really wish it was, I was there like a fly on the wall to see all this happen. It sounds great. It's awesome for a video game standpoint. From a reality standpoint, that is really sad. And here's the thing. If you're telling me that if this guy isn't good at this game, depending how nice of a person he is, if he'll treat her right, whatever else he's got going on in life, it does not matter because he's a Slayer main. There's a problem there. Trash Slayer. Like, oh my God. Excuse me. So, kudos for this actually happening. I appreciate the father's passion for it. I appreciate the boyfriend taking the challenge. I appreciate the family in general going this route about it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, once again, actions have consequences. So, when you actually won, technically, you kind of lost. So, happens. All right. Let's keep it moving, shall we? Let's keep it moving. All right. Let's talk about Team Ninja real quick. Team Ninja finally says goodbye to Dead or Alive 5 and looks forward to the future. So what you're saying, Team Ninja, is that you're done milking people. That's what you're saying. You're done nickel and diming the shit out of people. So are you going to come out with a Game of the Year edition now to try and nickel and dime the shit out of people so they can have all their stuff? Or no? I'm just wondering, Team Ninja. I don't really care at this point. If you keep nickel and diming people like this, I'm not going to support you. Let's keep moving on. I don't care how cosmetic it is. Let's keep moving on. Japanese fans are upset about Street Fighter 30th anniversary. Now, what people are saying is, and this article says they rightfully should be upset, all right, because of the ports, all right, because their subtitles and their ports and all this stuff, the menus are in English. That's what it is. It's in English. So it's almost like if you bought an import version of something, you know what I mean, that's, where you get everything in Japanese, they have to do, almost the same thing. And so they're upset. The writer is saying they should be upset because Capcom is based in Japan and this shouldn't be happening. However, in the comment section, gamers are upset because they're saying, this shouldn't be the thing that you're worried about. What you should be mad about is Alpha 3 and how bad the game is, that they ported over to it. So that's the bigger issue with this game is Alpha 3, okay? But but menus are menus, you know what I mean? You can navigate through them. I understand they're upset over it due to the fact that, like I said, it's in their home base, you know what I mean, in Japan, and you're getting the American stuff instead of Japanese. I get why they're upset, all right? But gamers are saying there's a bigger issue at hand, and it's Alpha 3. So, we have that. Also, more news. King of Fighters 14 new character will be playable at EVO Japan. Now, of course, we're not sure exactly who this character is going to be. I mean, given the silhouette or what people are saying, this, it's a certain character that used to be on Team Ash. We're not going to talk about that just yet. But people are also saying that maybe it's possible that we saw the person who won, the Saudi Arabia character won the character contest. It could be that as well. I don't think it's going to be, given, the situation that's going on here. All I'm going to say is Joker. That's all I'm going to say. All right? But if you're interested to know more, I will put, of course, the link in the description field for you. Okay? Now, we need to have this talk. Somebody come get their people. I can't do this. I really can't. Event Scrubs. Again, you notice every time, it's always event scrubs and the people that they hire. I'm convinced that these people, either they don't play games, again, gaming media, they don't play games, or they have no idea what they're talking about, so they just shill. Shill. Alright, that's what they do. Alright? So, for those who don't know, esports team jerseys could make great DLC costumes in fighting games. This is what they really believe. And do you see the sub part of it? Just try and tell us Gal wearing a Daigo jersey wouldn't be hype. It wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. First off, they've said in the comments, even fans are disagreeing with this, because they're like, no, first off, you do not need esports jerseys in there because players switch teams all the time. So you don't need an esports jersey, on a character. Shall we talk about, again, characters playing characters? We've talked about this before. So let me get this straight. Now we're almost in the Matrix at this point, because we've got players who have been told that their personality isn't, worth a damn, so they have to be someone else that they're not in order to be entertaining, turning into a character, playing said character that now will wear their jersey. So characters playing characters wearing other characters' jersey. I need a red pill. I do. Maybe I don't need it. Maybe everyone else needs it. I don't know. You've got to be kidding me, man. Like, this is something, and this is the same person who wrote that article about King of Fighters, about how, people don't play the community King of Fighters. Shut up. Whose parents stop that? Someone come get their mans. All right? Or they chick. Someone come, who greenlit this bullshit? Come on. You know and I know that you do not need esports jerseys. First off, there's a number of layers of this on why it's bad. And we've already just talked about the characters versus characters thing. I'll give you some more. Okay? Pushing brands into video games like this. And we've already seen the Red Bull stage and blah, blah. First off, we don't need that shit. Okay? But now you're pushing brands on on characters to be even more influential on players. That's what you're doing. You're pushing brands at this point. It's not even about the game anymore. You're pushing brands. You know what? Next week, we'll talk about the Red Bull Street Fighter cabinet. How about that? All right? Now we got to push brands onto people. Not to mention, and we talked about this before, favor for favor, how you keep these players in the limelight. Doing this type of shit, that's what it'll do. All right? Now, of course, Daigo, as we know, he doesn't need to keep being pushed in the limelight. But let's get something straight here. Everyone who fucking loves Daigo and always talks about Daigo and everything, at MomoCon, when Daigo was signing autographs, wasn't a motherfucker around. He was walking on the floor like a regular person should, walk the floor. Didn't no one give a shit who he was. People weren't like, yo, that's Daigo, that's the legend. No one cared. Balrog was there too, no one cared. And it's not that the fighting game community doesn't support MomoCon, because if you see what MomoCon's got coming up this year, it's going to be big. But no, there was a number of players there. Like I said, the year before that, there was a number of players there. And before that, Justin Wong and Noah Brown and K-Brad and all them was there. So I'm not trying to hear it. For people to say that certain venues aren't popular is bullshit. Granted, given the timeline that's going on now with Combo Breaker is different. But you have to also understand that these players are there. And just because they're there doesn't mean they're going to be treated like fucking royalty. It is crazy that this community has just taken on this celebrity lifestyle when it has been known that, look, y'all ain't shit. That's what reality has told us. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all never be celebrities. You shouldn't try to be celebrities. And we said, yeah, you're right. We shouldn't try to be celebrities. We should try to be who we are, because you're a bunch of people or assholes who try to play the popularity route. Now they're trying to tell us we need to play the popularity route. Whoever thought that this was okay, all right, this branding, this popularity and all this shit, whoever thought that this was the next level of things, whoever thought that, their asses need to go. All right? Because now you're insisting upon yourself more than what you really are. That's what it is. This article is so bad. And I don't understand how this is okay. Listen, everyone, and that comment section was like, nah, no, this is, why would you even think that's okay? It's almost like these media people, they have a bunch of random, Post-it notes on a wall. They got a dart, and they just throw random, darts to see which ones they hit, and say, okay, we're going to talk that, and that, and we're going to roll it on one article. That's what it makes it feel like. It's throwing shit against the wall and see if it sticks. It's absolutely ridiculous that anybody would bring up this notion. You need, the actual player, the actual character should wear players' esports jerseys. Are you fucking serious? Do you understand how damaging that could be? I mean, must she be reminded of Doritos Pope? There's a reason we try to get away with, try to get away from this type of shit. And they keep trying to bring it onto you with the energy drinks and the food. Now you want to put it on the actual fucking characters? It's bad enough that they have these, these big corporations, Twitch and Red Bull stages and shit like that. It's bad enough. Capcom Cup, special edition outfits and all, and stages and shit. You don't even need that stuff. But at least with Capcom, with the Capcom Cup and Capcom, I could understand they do that because it's their product. I get that, But man, that is just, no. You don't need that. You don't. As people said, players always switch teams. We see it all the time. All right? But that's not just the case. You know what I mean? It's you really are pushing a mainstream brand onto people, onto gamers, to be influential. That is nasty. That is, I don't think you can get worse than that. That is nasty. That really is. And to think that was going to be okay. But there's more. That's right. Now Event Scrubs again. It's always them these days. It really is. SRK has kind of calmed down with some of that stuff. Event Scrubs again. They want to sit here and say that Street Fighter V, the reveal, you know what I mean? It wasn't a home run. Nah. It was a grand slam. Are you serious? I mean, again, I think people need red pills. Again, I don't understand this. For you to sit here and say this, they hit it out the park, it's a grand slam with these reveals. Why would you even think that's okay to say? Street Fighter V came out in 2016, right? It's almost 2018. Okay? Almost 2 years in the making. And you're just now, and even in the comment section, they're saying, we're finally getting everything that we wanted. Almost 2 years later, you're finally getting everything you wanted. So you've been supporting a company that has pretty much ignored you for almost 2 years. Do you understand this? They have not given the consumer, since it's a service, since you keep saying it's a service, have not given the consumer what they've wanted, supply and demand. They have not given them what they wanted until almost 2 years now. And now people are supposed to be happy about this. That's what you're telling me. We're supposed to be happy now. We're supposed to just act like none of this ever happened. Thank you, Capcom. You are now, what did they say in the other article? Cap God? Cap God, that's what you are now? If you don't realize how much you're being hustled, how much you're being brainwashed, how much you can see that a company really does not give a damn about this corner of their market, how abusive they can be. Because that's what it is. It is abusive. All right? Fix the game. Nah, we won't give you some costumes, dog. Fix the game. Nah, you just want to wait till a new rendition. You just have to wait till the next, the next version of it that we said you weren't going to get. I don't understand how anybody can tolerate such arrogance and ignorance. And this is from a company that, like I said, used to be great. Used to. They haven't been great in a very long time. Very long time. So, and I'm not talking the previous 2 or 3 years. No, it's been quite a long time since Capcom has been great. But you have to understand, that's what people are riding off of, the nostalgia. Capcom can pull it together. They can give us another one. Stop. Stop. You want to still support Capcom? That's fine, all right? But you go by individual title at least. See what's going to happen with those titles before you decide to ride off into the sunset on the Capcom horse. That's absolutely ridiculous. You and I both know that none of these companies give a damn about us. But what you do is you look at the business, aspects of what you're getting, because our full games are dead. They're done. They're over. And people keep trying to make the excuse that, well, it's a new generation. This is how games are made these days. That's bullshit. That's only been a couple years. All right? That's bullshit. You just choose to believe that. It doesn't have to happen that way. You just choose to believe that shit. So, because everyone else is on board, because they're saying, how can we stop it? Well, we can't stop it, so we just got to accept it. Now everyone says, well, I guess I shouldn't go against the current. I'll just accept it as well. And then when people do speak out, oh no, you're wrong, you're a hater, you're blah, 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 peer pressure over and over again until they crush you down to the ground till you're into dust, and then they hope that you go away. That's what they do. We talked about this not too long ago. If you do not see what's being done here, it's impressive by a company to get away with such bullshit. But it's also, from a community standpoint, it's embarrassing. It is. to just keep accepting this shit over and over and over again. And guess what? Something else will come along, and they'll say, hey, they did wrong, and we hate you, and then they'll show you another shiny trailer, and you'll be like, ooh, shiny trailer, I'm back. You gotta have some type of backbone. But when I say this, everyone gets mad. I don't get it. But Cap God. Yes, the Cap Gods are around. If Cap Gods are here, because they have ascended because of all this, what's going on with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? Because on Black Friday, for those who didn't see what I posted on Twitter on Black Friday when I was at Best Buy, this is exactly what happened at Best Buy. Because nobody was buying Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. No. And it's not because it wasn't on sale. It's Black Friday. It's a bundle. No one's buying it. Nobody. It's doing bad. It really is. I'm not saying it's going to die completely. Because like I said, for what they've already said, we've seen some leaks already. Alright? And here's the thing. The same person not too long ago on Reddit who leaked about, I believe it was Tekken, and leaked, was it King of Fighters? I believe it was. Put out some leaks for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite not too long ago. And for the next 5 years, who you're going to get. So you may get some X-Men. I don't know. We'll see. You know what I mean? Wolverine was listed, so we'll see. There's a couple of X-Men that were listed. But the fact is, I don't want to talk about that too much because, of course, it's rumor. It's not hard confirmation. But this person has a history of being right. So it's kind of hard to go against. But, yeah, one of those things, like I said, again, but remember, Capcom had told you for the next 10 years they were going to support this game. So they're just going to DLC you, and that's what they're going to do. This person's saying 5 years now. We shall see what happens, all right? But you and I both know that this is not the way a company should be doing business. Getting people to keep consuming characters that you've already made. Hello, Black Panther, we knew that you were around. Yeah, all right? For people who keep saying DLC takes a long time to make, sure as hell didn't take that long to release Black Panther, did it? Because it was already made. When these companies do these things and purposely hold things back behind paywalls, it's an abusive tactic. Buying things like this, characters over and over, doesn't give you longevity of your game. Think about it. They were just talking about with EVO. Oh, what should we use as an EVO? People were like, King of Fighters 98. You know, one person said Marvel vs. Capcom 2. People still play these full games. Full games. Quality. Classic games. Alright? And that's what it is. You didn't need that. You didn't need to keep, being shielded and leaked for your money and DLC. This is how we're going to keep our product going. If we just reveal some new characters every once in a while. No. And you say, but that's the sign of times. No, it's not. It's like, again, you have accepted that. It doesn't have to be that way. Did anyone accept the online pass when it started? Yes, they did. People was like, I guess I can see their point. And we saw the fight with companies and GameStop and on them because they used game sales and stuff like that. Did it last? No. Because consumers said, this is unethical. We're not going to deal with this. So you've done it before. But instead, you'd rather, ooh, new character. This is ridiculous. And yet you let this go. And of course, you see all these problems with the quality of the base game. And you're like, okay, well, shouldn't you be, your priority should be making a quality product first before deciding to do this. You make your fixes and you do this stuff. No. We're just going to keep hashing it out there for you. Just keep throwing it. And eventually, in time, maybe we'll think about fixing the game. Maybe. Like, why do we accept this? Huh? Why? Like, seriously, stop. If you need to, stop this video. Go into the bathroom or to the bedroom or wherever you need to. Look in the mirror. And if you've done this before, to yourself say, why do I accept this? On a case-by-case basis, of course. Game-by-game basis. Every company does it these days. If you support every company who tried to nickel and dime with microtransactions or DLC, you wouldn't have much money to live on. You probably wouldn't have any money either. I mean, in general. We saw a list last year of how many companies had season passes and DLC for big games. People couldn't keep up. So it's like you really have to pick one or two games and support it, and that's it. If you were planning on getting the season passes. Everyone is in this mode now. and actually it actually stifles their product. It really does. Speaking of that, for those who don't know, Dragon Ball Open Beta hits January 14th. That's right, the Open Beta. So January 14th, Dragon Ball comes, and you know that people are just, they can't wait to get their hands on it. They can't wait. You already know how I feel about Dragon Ball. It looks like a quality game. I am absolutely upset over the business ethics, the practices that is coming with this game. You would have thought that Bandai Namco would have gone a different route about this. But no. They're no different. No different than we said. Like Marvel was doing it, Capcom Marvel were doing it, and you're like, oh no, Dragon Ball will save us. They won't do that. Yeah, well. Yeah. Especially companies that, announce season passes before the game's even fucking out. Yeah, you gotta love that. But, let's keep going, shall we? For those who don't know, a new Virtual On launches in winter of 2018 in Japan. I feel this genre, we'll call it that, genre, alright, the type of game we play is on the rise. We see it with Gundam Versus, we know Dissidia is coming, and now we have Virtual On coming back. This style of gameplay is coming back, whether people like it or not, and this type of team play is coming back. And I think it's best now to jump on the wagon, if you're not on it yet, jump on the wagon now, and say, look, if you're going to be competitive in some type of fighting game, this is the way to go about it. Because if you think about it from an esports standpoint, most of your popular esports are built around what? Teamwork. They're teams. You know what I mean? So when you see stuff like Street Fighter and things, yes, it's more of like prize fighting. They try to make it like prize fighting, but it fails horribly. Because as we know, E-League and TBS and all them, we've seen the Craigslist ads for having to try to fill the stands with people because they can't get anybody to watch that stuff in person. So they got to get these people and they tell you, hey, we need you to cheer real loudly for winners and all this stuff. And when someone acts a fool, oh, and all this, yes, we've seen it. They've turned it almost into a game show like Wheel of Fortune or whatever. You know what I mean? They'll tell you when to applaud. Like I said, right now, it's show business. That's what it is. Or like The Price is Right or whatever the case, whatever other game show. But it's a low budget game show. Because, to be honest, it's not simple enough for the average viewer to understand. They don't understand everything that's going on. Regardless what type of commentators you have. It's not simple enough for the average person to understand. Why do you think that they hold a specific demographic? Why do you think The Price is Right? Mostly old people, right? They love The Price is Right. They love Bob Barker, when he was there. Now it's moved on, slightly a newer generation coming in. You know what I mean? Or they'll reinvent the old games and try and bring them back with a new spin. You know what I mean? Let's make a deal. Stuff like that. You have to understand that they hold specific demographics. So gaming clearly has a specific demographic, but the demographic isn't big enough. Even though you say, but there's so many people playing games and they buy games. Yes, they're busy playing and not watching. That's what it comes down to. And of course, when it comes to this corner of genre, it's not that big. But like I said, new Virtual On is coming, okay? And this style of team play can really be big if promoted correctly. It can be. Let's move on, shall we? More good news. Catherine. That's right, so we talk about Catherine. Catherine, full body announced for the PS4 and Vita. And they're saying that this is going to be pretty much a new game because they're adding a new Catherine in. So there will be a third Catherine in this game. It should be interesting. Catherine was a very quality game. So I wouldn't have a problem picking this one up since they're adding a new Catherine. But we shall see if there's any new puzzles. I mean, you got to think, if they're adding new Catherine, that means they got to put in new story, new scenarios. They're probably going to put in they have to put in, more new gameplay because of this. So it's not like they're just, it's just like they can just add it, tack it on as DLC, as opposed to a new game. It's been a couple years since Catherine's been out anyway. This is probably the best way to go about it, you know what I mean? And give you that extra character with those extra frames. You got to think, when it comes to animation costs and stuff like that, it costs a lot of money. But, like I said, when it comes to traditional animation, it doesn't cost as much. Well, it does cost a lot, but for what I've seen, Arcana Heart, it doesn't cost that much to make characters animate, especially when they're that big on the damn screen. You know what I mean? It's a little different than traditional animation. So, Catherine, it's going to take a number of frames, of course, to animate and things like that in order to get stuff done, especially voice acting work and all that other good stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with Catherine, coming out with a new version of it. and giving you more story, a new character, and of course we'll bring more complex puzzles more than likely. So you're getting new gameplay as well, new looks and new stages. Puzzle game. So it's a little different than your average milked of DLC on a fighter, or milk DLC when it comes to action adventure game. Depending on how much content is there, we've talked about this before. How if you don't have enough content, then you might as well wait and then make it as we're used to back in the day as expansion packs. So it's a little different. Okay. Now let's move on. I said that you should take it by a game basis, and this is a good example of what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about this right now. Monster Hunter. Okay. Monster Hunter World, they're coming new beta. So if you didn't see the old beta, if you weren't in the old beta, I should upload that footage. I still have that footage when I streamed it with a couple people. Was it Monster Hunter World? The new beta will be out on December 22nd, and it'll be to the 26th. That's right. So Merry Christmas, pretty much from Capcom. Now here's the thing. Monster Hunter World, it says the story will be 40 to 50 hours long. Now anyone who's played Monster Hunter knows, number one, you're not really worried about that much story. Okay? Every time you get it, the only reason you get story is because of the quest you take and the people you talk to. They talk to you and give you bits and pieces of what's happened in their village. That's it. And then you just go fight the monster or whatever. Anybody who has played Monster Hunter to, dare I say, a hardcore extent, knows that you're not going to pour less than probably 500 hours into this game. So 40 to 50 hours for story doesn't matter. It doesn't, because you're all going to be hunting, you're going to be grinding, you're going to be getting new weapons and new armor, and you're going to be fighting the biggest badasses, etc., etc., etc. You're not worried about story. That's what it is. That's how Monster Hunter has always been built. That's how it always will be. Okay? It's not very narrative-driven that much. They just give you lore of the monster, why the monster is there, how it's terrorized the village, how you can stop the monster. And then you get these little bits and pieces as you go along. That's it. That's how story has been told in Monster Hunter, as you go on multiple rank quests. Okay? Now, with that said, here is what I'm talking about. Alright? And Monster Hunter sticks to its tradition. For those who don't know. Monster Hunter World, monsters will all be free DLC. That's right. It's always happened. We've talked about this before. They've done it in the PS2 era. Well, not much the PS2 era because you didn't have really that much DLC, but they did have add-ons every once in a while when you played online. But it's mostly during the PSP era they did this. Okay? PSP era was huge when it came to releasing new content. So you always played, if it was new content, it was event quests. And then you went into the arena and you fought multiple monsters at the same time with your team. So, and big G-rank monsters, you know what I mean? Multiple. And it wasn't just, we're just going to throw one at you. Okay, then when you're done with that one, we'll give you another one. At the same time. No, they came at you at the same time. You had to keep your head on a swivel. So, it's one of those things where they're sticking to tradition and they're going to make everything free DLC as opposed to milking you for your fucking money. That's what it is. Now, here's the thing that I didn't like about Monster Hunter that we talked about. Because you have a digital version with a pre-order, and then you have a regular version that you can pre-order, and they give you different things. That I do not appreciate, all right? Because then people are going to say, hey, there's digital sales. But as far as I'm concerned, Monster Hunter, for the most part, and if you haven't played the beta, please play the beta. If you're new to this game, you can always hit me up. I can always help you with it. Like I said, I don't have a problem with it. You can ask anybody who's in the stream that hey, anybody want to play, hop on, I'll help you. You know what I mean? It's that simple. Always help with quests. I don't have a problem with that. No matter if you're new or not. I see a lot of people saying that they don't want to play with a lot of new people, and it's like, no. And Monster Hunter community is very fickle like that, too. You'll have a lot of people who have played for years, and it's like, I don't want to play with no noobs, and they're just going to hold me back. And they tend to forget that everybody has to start somewhere. Nobody started as a pro playing Monster Hunter. So you have to have patience. People need help. Now, if you're helping said, new person, and they're not trying to play and they want you to do all the work, well, then you don't help them, all right? But if they're putting in the effort, you know what I mean, and trying to fight hard to help, they get to where they need to go, then you give them a break. It's part of it. There's going to be times where you don't beat the monsters as a team. And it's like, okay, cool, just do it again. And it don't work, okay, then we do it again. And we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again. And we keep doing it until we beat it. And then, do you need the pieces for this monster? Then we're going to keep beating it until you get the pieces for the monster. That's how it works. Okay? I don't know why this concept is so hard for people to understand. But because you have people who have played this for years upon years upon years, you have people who have such an ego where they won't play with certain players unless they're a certain rank. And that's absolutely ridiculous. I don't believe that whatsoever. Monster community has always been guilty of this for years. Guilty of it. And it needs to stop. You can see a lot of this type of stuff, this type of talk, on a lot of forums. when it comes to Monster Hunter. A lot of them. Not too long ago, one of you had asked me, you said one of your friends had said, and I want to talk about this real quick before we move on. You said, one of your friends said that the longsword it's nothing compared to the greatsword. That the greatsword is better than the longsword. People who say that are talking out of ignorance because, for those who don't know, the longsword, for years since it's been introduced, a lot of people have always said that the longsword is OP because of its length, because of its speed, because you can get away, its evasion. You can get away with so much with a longsword as opposed to a greatsword. And I've talked about the greatsword before, how if you're not a very good user with the greatsword, you can be a detriment to your team. You can launch your players into the air, and they will fly because, you're not paying attention where they're at, or they're not paying attention where you're at, and when you take that big swing, they get launched. Sometimes that launch can help save a player's life. The best thing about the greatsword that I will say, it's almost like when you're using a shield, is if a player gets downed, and a monster knocks the player down and scouts the player, and it's stalking the player, and the player's trying to get up, but maybe the player's dizzy and can't wake out of it yet, and the monster sees it, and the monster's getting ready to charge. If you have a great sword, you can step in front of that player and use the sword as a shield. You can block for them. So that's the best part, I think, about the great sword, as opposed to anyone who's ever been a lancer. But when it comes to absolute power, when it comes to the great sword, you're being beat by a hammer player every time. You just are. Hammer players are just tremendous. And for anyone to say that, the greatsword is possibly the best sword, you lose in speed, you lose in dexterity, you lose in evasion, and then you lose in power from other, different different weapons on, that's accessible to you. So the greatsword is just in the middle. It's not the best, it's not the worst. All right? It's that simple. It depends. Let's say you play the greatsword to its strengths. That's what you do. You do with every weapon. But for someone to make a bold claim as the greatsword is just hands down better than the longsword, no, that's not how it works at all. Not how it works at all. And you need more experience in Monster Hunter. Not going to disrespect you. Just saying you need more experience in Monster Hunter. That's all it is. Let's move on, shall we? Okay, so DMC Collection. Let's talk about this real quick. Capcom. I'm wondering, again, no 4K graphics for the DMC Collection. But isn't this what developers and the industry has pushed for? You want this massive hardware with all this stuff you can do, and then you don't harness said power of hardware. I don't get it. Whether it's frames per second or use no 4K, you should be on the up and up. If this is supposed to be the best generation, because at first it was next gen, we're going to get everything we want. And then, slowly but surely, every game that comes out, well, it's only running 30 frames per second. Oh, it's not that great of graphics. But that's what you build it as, isn't it? This is what you wanted. And yet, you still aren't doing it. Okay. Well, in more great news, I'll say, alright, Bayonetta 3 has been announced. And I'm happy about that. Now, for those who don't know, of course, it's for the Switch. Of course, it's going to be for Nintendo. Nintendo funded Bayonetta 2. You should have known this was coming. And, of course, they're going to put a pack out, a 1 and 2 pack, and then 3 for the Switch. I don't have a problem with this. People are still complaining that, well, Nintendo, it shouldn't just be for Nintendo. Like I said, if it wasn't for Nintendo, then we wouldn't have had Bayonetta 2. If you want to be upset at somebody, you can be upset at Microsoft, you can be upset at Sony, you can be upset at a lot of companies. But one thing you can't be upset is Nintendo, because they're the ones who pulled it out, all right? Who pulled out their money, pulled it out and said, hey, look, this is what we're going to do to be successful. We got Bayonetta 2. We're going to back you on this. And he pulled out a successful, game. Can't be mad at Nintendo. So I'm not surprised that Platinum was like, okay, yeah, we'll do this with you again because you helped us. I mean, it's only right. Anyways, speaking of Nintendo, there has been some talk about Super Mario cereal. That's right. And at first it was a rumor, and then people started trying to scout it. Well, now it seems like Super Mario cereal has been found at ShopRite. I love how it's right next to Donut Shop cereal. I love that. But the fact is, all right, Super Mario cereal is here. Here we go with the branding again. But you know what? This was done years ago before Super Mario had its own cereal. So it's nothing new. Okay, but let's get something straight here. All right, now that it comes with an amiibo or whatever it is, people, I'm shocked that, as you can see, there's a lot on the shelf. So I don't think that gamers are falling for it as much as they did. Or maybe they just, a lot of people don't know about it. Back when Nintendo was hugely insane popular, anything Mario sells. As you know, it still sells to this day because Mario is such an icon. Mario, Sonic, all them, no matter what you put them on, they're going to sell. So, but I don't know how the cereal tastes. It probably tastes like shit. I don't know. But it seems like I've seen that they've done all the scouting for Mario cereal is really hyped for it for some reason. I don't know. But we shall see what comes in, in the process. I mean, maybe someone needs to make a video just eating cereal. I mean, how would that be? I'm going to make a video of Super Mario cereal, and you're going to watch me eat it, and then you're going to get my opinions of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it already exists. I wouldn't be surprised. But let's keep it going. PlayStation, Sony, okay. PSN name changing will be coming to 2000. It will be coming in 2018. So for those who don't like their name changing handle, 2018 will be the year for you. Okay. Also, let's talk about this real quick. Bloodborne 2. Bloodborne 2, the teaser, or at least the rumor of what we've seen from software has put out. We saw the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer, what I'll do is I'll put the link in the description field like I do with all the stuff. And you can judge for yourself. I personally thought when I saw it, Bloodborne 2. When I looked online, people were like, Bloodborne 2. But it has not been confirmed yet. And that's what we're waiting for, even though it seems as though it's going to be Bloodborne 2. So, with that news, I think I'm done for the day. I don't know. People, I'm hoping that everyone, because I'm not going to do a video before Christmas, I'm hoping that everyone has a good Christmas. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that everyone, you get your presents, you get your presents, spend your time with family and friends, get your presents, have fun. And that's the reason why I'm not doing a video during the holiday season, because it's one of those things where it's like, you should have fun playing your games. You know what I mean? Getting together online, if that's what you have to do, since we can't go outside and play together, because, there's no arcades or anything. It's one of those things where, it's one of those things where you should have fun. And you shouldn't have to worry so much about what's going on. I'm telling you now, during this holiday season, you are going to see a lot of people try and bait others. I'm letting you know that now. Okay? There's a number of things I didn't get a chance to show you this week because of time constraints. But maybe I'll show next time. You know what I mean? Because there were some rage quits I wanted to show and I didn't show. So we'll talk about that in the future. I just want everyone to be able to have fun, be friendly towards each other, you know what I mean? And don't worry about these people who are going to try and attract drama on the holidays. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure if you jump on Twitter or if you jump on Facebook, there's going to be somebody that say something bad about a religion or a race or sexism or whatever, and they're going to keep trying to do that on those days for attention. Don't give them that attention. All right? Just don't. It's not worth it. It's not. It isn't. Just enjoy yourselves. Because the internet, you can see that type of drama every day on the internet, all right? Give yourselves a break from it. I've noticed that there's been a lot of people, they've been fighting this fight for so long when it comes to who's a misogynist or whatever the case may be, that they've almost turned into those that they hate. And they don't see it. You know what I mean? And then we've seen people who have decided to start getting rid of people from in that inner clique, you know what I mean, that they were doing, because they didn't say anything positive or anything like that. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of those things where you have to understand that this internet thing is not that serious. It's not. It's only as serious as you make it. The internet is what you make it. And, again, if people are going to try and become superstars off of this damn thing, well, then it goes to tell you that they can't do it without the internet. They can't do it in real life. They got to do it on here. It's the only way they can get away with it. That's what it comes down to, all right? It goes to show you that at the end of the day, like I said, you got to understand who's on your side, who's not, who's a fucking snake, who's a backstabber, who's an abuser, and say, is this person really good for our community? Is this person really good for the media? Is this person really good for the industry? And then at that point, when you start seeing people for what they are, it's time to walk away from them. It is. It's amazing how many people try to play the nice guy instead of just being honest with you. What's the problem that people can't be honest? We need, really, like, we look at us as a community and like, why can't you just be honest? What's wrong with you? Why do you have to support such and such? Why do you do this? You know, like, there should be more questions. Instead, people are just, okay. It's not just, oh, that's that person's opinion. No, ask them why. That's how you get to know people. Why? Why do you feel this way? You know, when I get on here, I'll tell you exactly why I feel this way. It's not just, and give you, things to make up, the links in the description field so that you can make up your mind yourself. I don't need to sit here and just make a video and not give you anything and then say, you should just agree with me. Even if you don't know the situation. You know what I mean? But he must be talking the truth. I don't believe in that. Because then that's not me being fair. That's me actually manipulating you. That's what that is. That's manipulation. That's being abusive. Realize who's on your side, man. That's all it is. Because if you're falling for that, then they'll just keep lying to you over and over and over. And who the fuck wants to be lied to over and over and over? It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Seriously. If people can't be honest with you over video games, they can't be honest with you over video games, then there's no point in them even being online. Take your ass offline and go sit in the corner somewhere and think real deeply about what you're doing. If that's what you have to do. If you have to lie to get people to watch you. If you have to be someone else to get people to watch you. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You can't hide behind the guise of entertainment. You can't do that. No, you can't, because you're not an entertainer. You're not. Bottom line. You're just people who sit here just like I do, and you talk. That's all. Whether you have something good to say or not. That's all you are. Alright? No frilly costumes to dress up in, and all this other bullshit. No fake personas. You don't need that. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a good one. Like I said, anytime y'all want to play something, especially like Monster Hunter, or what I'm playing as a late Gundam, or we're supposed to also play Anarchy Reign soon. I gotta get in contact with people about that. Let me know. I'll talk to y'all then. Y'all be safe. Alright? Till then, I'm out.